just left. Ben's gone. Oh, my charger fell out. Britt, how are you?
Oh, I'm great. Thanks. Thanks for asking.
You're welcome.
How are you?
You know, doing well. Doing well, dog.
What was I gonna say? Wow, we had so much to talk about before, and then we start recording, and I'm like,
I know. We do this often, where we talk so much.
We were just talking about your apartment and how it's all decorated beautifully, and
yeah, we were. I mean, I've kind of like, I've been here for a really long time, so I tried to like make it homier. I got like new couches in here, like new artwork. I have like a fireplace, new TV behind me. Being an adult is expensive. I've noticed. It's a lot.
Yeah. Well, like I just started doing this, like, I started following this YouTube channel called Pickup Limes. I think I told you about them.
Yeah, tell me more. I love this channel.
She's so amazing. She's this girl. She's actually from Vancouver originally, and then she moved to Amsterdam with her partner. Mm-hmm. And she's a chef as well, and she also is a dietitian. Like she has like her degree, and so she like creates these vegan meals that are like packed with nutrients. And so like the list is usually quite large, because that's another thing that the reason why I haven't really gotten into that vegan or being a vegetarian is because you have to like replace all of the proteins and stuff that you're getting from, and I don't know enough about food to like do that. But she does it where she like sets up these recipes, and it's so easy for you to follow. But the ingredients list is like, I'm not joking, like so long for one dish.
Oh, really? Is it expensive then?
Yes. So like yesterday was I did like a meal prep day, which I normally never do.
Yeah.
I went to the grocery store and I had this huge list. Like I'm talking freaking like full page plus maybe a little bit on the back. And yeah. I like went through the grocery store. It took us like an hour and 20 minutes maybe to get everything.
Yeah. Is that for one, or is that for like a couple different lunches?
It's for like 3 or 4 different meals to be but then like I made one of the meals, and then I made a breakfast like oatmeal thing this morning that I sectioned off so it can last for a few days in the fridge. Yeah. So I've like made these meals, and I have them packaged, and like I can eat them whenever I want to. Like,
oh yeah.
Like before this, I only had 30 minutes before we started filming, so I was like, I should eat something quick, and so I just take it, I put it in the microwave, and then I eat it quickly. But it's like a full meal, and it's really
good. It's all vegan.
It's all vegan.
Okay, so question for you. Because I know I haven't actually ever gone vegan either, but would you be able to do that with okay, sorry, let me start over. Do you still have Crohn's disease, or because you had the surgery, did it kind of take it away more than you have it?
Yeah, like I'm technically not, I'm pretty sure I'm in remission because they removed the problem, but what the issue is now moving forward is the scar tissue. So when they this is going to be a little graphic, but they like took out the piece of intestine that was bad, and then they like sewed the 2 pieces back together. Mm. There was some inflammation that happened and scar tissue buildup, which caused the hole to be smaller.
Right. Okay. So if you were, thinking of then going vegan or wanting to go in that route, would you have to be really cautious of which like foods you would have to substitute for that because of the disease?
It's very fibrous. Yeah. So I just have to like be aware. Like I know for a fact I can't eat corn and I can't eat bok choy anymore because that's
2 really good ones.
Really stringy. And then like, what are they called? Leeks. Do you know those like big? They look like a big version of green onions, kind of. They're like literally this big.
Whenever I hear people say leeks, I just think of leeches, like in lakes. So I'm like,
thank you.
Maybe that's a one you don't need.
Plant, yeah, and you're not supposed to eat the green part because it's too fibrous.
Okay.
Already, but the rest of it is pretty fibrous. I can eat them. I've been okay with it. I just have to like overcook things. So like any vegetable, I usually just cook it a lot, and then it's softer and I can eat it.
Okay.
But like raw vegetables are harder, so I have to just be careful. I have to drink a lot of water when I eat, and like chew foods like to like the 9th degree.
Yeah. The 9th.
I don't know what I'm not saying. You know what I mean. But
like a couple sayings we're unsure of this conversation, like mementos. Is that
memento?
You don't know.
That's a thing, memento.
Drop a comment, let us know.
That was from the Joe and Britt portion of this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, true. So hopefully there you go.
Yeah, we should say this is part 2 of a conversation. If you haven't seen the first part, check it out on our shared YouTube channel called Joe and Britt. We'll link it down below. And part 3 will be on Joelle's channel because she started.
Yes, so anyone who's just watching, like starting from watching on Brit's channel right now, if you do not know, we had a YouTube channel together for 3 years, was it? Like we still have the channel, but we started it about 3 years ago, maybe even longer. And then now we're both, focusing on other parts of our lives, acting, etc., and kind of moving forward with our own channels. So this is Brits, which is hilarious and amazing. And go check out Knuckles on 4 Productions too. It's very great. I've also been tuning in there. Brennan is hilarious and amazing. And then I'm also starting my own channel, which we'll link below. And I'm kind of like, it's very early stages.
You have a name for it yet, or no?
So, okay, everybody that knows me from Joe and Brit knows that I love puns, of course. I can't live without them, and I feel like I have opened that world up to Brit. But anyways, I'm calling it, I love coffee also, so I want to call it Daily Cup of Joe. And that is actually the name of something else that maybe I have released before this video goes live on your channel. I'm not sure yet, but I'm hoping to have released my blog, which is called dailycupofjoe.com. So I'll also link that below, and that's where I'm going to be talking about a lot. I think I'm really going to focus it on the questions that I get most from people over Instagram or email, which would be acting tips and tricks, social media, like turning social media into a business, travel itineraries, because I love to travel. So I'm going to post some stuff about that, and of course coffee. So it will be focused on kind of all those things and things in between. So my idea is to make my YouTube account called Daily Cup of Joe also, because I feel like I could just kind of connect the two that way, which would make sense. So right now on my YouTube channel, it literally is just Joelle Farrow, but hoping to kind of turn it into Daily Cup of Joe and then see where it goes from there. So follow along.
That's so great. And I love coffee. So we all love coffee. That's perfect.
Coffee. I know, exactly. I was like, I just need to tie this into my life. Like it just needs to be a part of my life.
To like drink coffee for a living, because then it like justified. It's like, I would quit, but I have to.
Yeah, I have to. I have to go to this coffee shop. I have to buy an extra large latte. I just have to. It's part of my job.
Although I have been drinking tea more.
Have you?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I'll have like 1 cup of coffee in the morning, and then I'll have tea moving forward, because
Yeah.
it's almost like I'm tricking myself by drinking like a hot beverage. I'm like, it's the same thing,
Yeah.
but like a different taste, and I just like get really great flavored tea from like David's Tea.
I love David's Tea.
So good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you still get your caffeine.
Yeah, but it's like not as intense, or maybe it's more intense. I don't know.
It's a little unsure, actually.
I've heard that tea is more caffeinated than coffee beans. I've heard. Maybe I'm wrong.
Really? Maybe. I would believe it, actually. Like certain types of teas, black teas, maybe.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I'm just trying to be healthier altogether. The vegan meals, I don't know if I'm going to stick with that, because I've done like 4 meals. I like have them ready like to cook throughout the week, but like it's a lot of like, I don't mind them prepping and the making. But it's just a lot of money, because it's way more expensive to buy vegan, and it's just so much. Like you have to buy so much. I was so stressed out at the grocery store yesterday.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like it's also a lot of time, because, there's a lot of vegan restaurants now in Toronto, which is great, but not all of them are open yet. So having to cook that from home, like you need time for that too.
Yeah. So I don't think I'm going vegan. I feel like that's just, I enjoy vegan meals occasionally.
Yeah.
And I love meat. Like meat is great.
I love it. It would be so hard to give that up. Although I do understand like all of the benefits. Have you seen what's that Netflix?
I've heard of this, but I haven't watched it yet.
I watched it. I totally forget what it's called.
Is the number 12 in there somewhere? Sorry.
Game Changers. Game Changers?
Game Changers. That sounds right. Where did I get 12? I thought it was like.
Wait, maybe you're thinking of the documentary called 13th, but that is not about veganism. Did you watch 13th?
No.
Okay, wait, maybe cut the part out. You know what? Cut the 13th part out, just because I don't know enough about it to talk about it.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah. Well, it's only because it's surrounding like Black Lives Matter, and I don't want to say anything politically incorrect, to be honest.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. 13th. I'm just gonna write that down.
Yeah.
Okay.
But okay, you were talking about Pickup Limes. Is that what it's called?
Limes.
Pickup Limes. Okay, is this the same girl that you were talking about for becoming a minimalist?
Yeah. Yes.
Have you talked about this yet?
I haven't shared this yet on my channel, so.
Are we waiting on it?
No, I think I might be waiting on it.
Okay, wait on it.
I could say it in here.
It's up to you.
I don't know. Let's talk about it, and then I'll edit it if I feel like.
Okay.
Well, yeah. She's a minimalist, and like she like Pickup Lines does this whole like it's a whole team of people now, but it started with just her, and she was doing like recipe videos, and then she focused on like how to become a minimalist in 30 days, and then she'll give you like a PDF document of like a checklist of different categories that you can go through to like declutter.
Yeah.
They say it's called paring down, which I recently discovered isn't like pair like a pair of things, but it's ARING.
See, she loves the puns too.
Well, no, that's just a minimalist thing. Like it's like a phrase that minimalists use, I guess.
Oh, I was associating like pick up limes, like the lime, and then oh, so no, it's not a pun. That's what it's called.
It just means like stripping away the things that are unnecessary, that don't bring you joy, and that don't provide a function for you.
Right. Well, which is great.
Yeah, and so that's something I'm really interested in. I like kind of got into minimalism like a year ago, just by like watching videos and like being into like watching the process.
Yeah.
But I never did it because I was like, that's a huge commitment. And I always thought it was like, you're either a minimalist where you have 10 shirts and they're all the same color and that's it.
That's it.
Or you're not. Like I didn't think there was like a spectrum, but she has like brought it to like, she like shares her experience becoming a minimalist, and she's like, it's a spectrum. Like you can be a minimalist and identify as a minimalist, I guess.
Yeah.
And have just the things that you need around yourself, and it doesn't have to be, you don't have to give yourself a deadline, and you don't have to have a specific amount of things to be considered a minimalist.
Totally.
It's just really, it's an intentional living thing. So you're before you purchase that item, you decide, is this really something I need? Will this bring me joy? And you really like think about it. And if you're unsure, then you take a photo of the item, wait a week, and if you have thought about it since you purchased it a lot, then you can go back and purchase it, or since you were thinking about purchasing it. But then, and if not, then you don't get it. And it's like,
yeah. Well, that's really cool. And I feel like that's a good strategy to do it, because there's so many things that when I go to the mall and, try something on and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to get it. Honestly, I couldn't tell you what half those things look like right now. Even if it was like 2 weeks ago, I've forgotten about it. So I think that's a really good way of looking at it. Like if you're still thinking about it, get it. It's probably good. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. So that's something that I've been thinking about is minimalism.
That's
all
awesome.
I'm gonna say.
That's all we're gonna say. As you like mysteriously sip your coffee. So have you talked much about like acting industry and stuff in Toronto, like on the virtual chats much, or just like with COVID?
We can talk about that. Yeah. I mean, we kind of touched on it a little bit with Eric, I think, but it's been slow for me. How's it been for you?
Also slow. I feel like it's, acting is one of those industries that it's tough. I feel like you can compare it probably to the music industry or other industries that are just like, sometimes it feels like it's so out of your control. And it's been really slow. It's been really difficult. Auditions are slimming. Roles and whatever like we have going for it, I feel like has been on pause or just shifted. And yeah, it's a weird time to be an actor right now for sure.
Well, there's like the virtual audition is like a thing now. It's not even like just self tapes where you do it yourself, but they also will have auditions over Zoom where it'll be like this, and then you have to like have a reader with you. Yeah. Also film it so that they can get the tape after, but they're directing you, I think. And I genuinely don't know how I feel about that.
No, it's definitely different too. I mean, a lot of times, like for people who don't know, when you're going out for a role, at least at our caliber right now, it seems like if you do happen to book that role, it's like within 2 weeks you're on set. Like it's not a long turnaround. It's very quick. Sometimes it's only a matter of days. If it's like a commercial shoot or whatever, it could be the next few days. But now I feel like if you book a role or you're in the running for a role, it's not even like it's 100% certain, because it could be filming 4 months from now, which is so rare in a regular world. So I feel like that also.
No. And also too, normally shoots get pushed for various reasons, but like now even more so. Like we were talking about something I auditioned for a month ago, or I don't even know how long, and it was supposed to be shooting July in Toronto or in Canada somewhere. Yeah. And they pushed the shoot till like November. Mm-hmm. So it's like even that, where it would have probably been a quicker turnaround, they weren't shooting in July. There was no way because of everything going on. But like that would happen even on a normal, I guess maybe, but it's just happening so much more because things aren't really opening up as much as they need them to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Contact stuff, because that's a big thing with our job is like, if you have an intimacy scene with someone, you have to be kissing that person, you have to be touching them, you have to like, you can't just have this distant, like
Right.
even in scenes like where it doesn't look like you're that close together, you have to be close together for camera.
Totally.
And like, and it's not really, it's like there's just so many things that like revolve around a set running smoothly that involve close contact.
100%. And especially like to your point of intimacy scenes, that's going to be really interesting to see how they do it. And I feel like, you know, they could go the whole route of like everybody just gets tested beforehand and then you quarantine all together. But by doing that, I mean, that's really expensive for a production as well, because now the people who, if you're filming in the GTA or in Toronto, could have just gone home and then come to set the next day for their call time. Now it's like you all have to be, I don't know what they're going to do, in a hotel together, or not being able to see anybody else for the duration of that shoot. That's like a lot. It's crazy.
That's a lot. And also like, what are the logistics of that look like? Like, are they going to rent out an entire hotel? And like, what happens if you accidentally come in contact with someone, or
yeah,
you know, or like, I don't know, it's just, there is a lot of like, that's a logistical nightmare.
Oh my goodness, I can imagine. It makes me really understand why productions are pushing things and why things aren't going back as quick as maybe, you know, people like us would want. Of course we want to be back on set, of course we want to be auditioning more regularly, but like I feel for these production companies who are trying to just navigate their way through this unknown time. It's such a weird time. We've not been through it, right? So nobody knows what to do. So
yeah.
It'll be really,
I think that like this is a good time to just do the things that you've always wanted to do. Like, for example, YouTube. I've thought about doing YouTube on a more regular basis.
Yeah.
Again, kind of like what we did with Joe and Britt, but like we have already said, we're both doing our own things right now. And I thought that would be like, now would be a good time to test it, because like you literally are just cooped up in your room or your home all day, so you might as well like make the most of it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Why not? Right. And I feel like that's something that was really difficult for Joe and Britt too, was as much as like I love doing YouTube with another person, because there's just that like comfort and you have someone to play off of and it just seems more like alive. It's hard to meet up with somebody, especially during COVID, when you're not like in the same building like you and Brennan, right? Like it's really difficult. Like even you and I, when it wasn't a COVID world, we were struggling with finding time to really meet up and like a lot time for this. So doing it on your own, it just allows you to have like freedom of your own time and control.
Remember we used to even do like filming days where we would literally set aside the whole day. You would come over to like my place in Georgetown.
Yeah.
My parents' house. And at like 9 a.m. we would start shooting, and then we would go until like 8 p.m.
This was crazy. Actually, what happened, I would come to Britt's house and she would have a whole, literally like it was on a set. She would have like the call sheet, basically. It would be pinned up on top of her door. It would say the whole schedule, 9 a.m. this, and not even just like 9 a.m. accent challenge, 10 a.m. this. It was like 9 a.m. setup, 9:15 get ready, 9:30. Like it was like so specific, and we had like an allotted time for lunch, and we would get done like, I remember like I would bring like a fruit tray and you would have like lunch set up. We'd have like craft. And then at the end of the day, we usually would finish around 12 or 13 videos. It's crazy. Like, I don't know. Looking back, I'm like, how did we do that?
I feel like it was the only way for us to film like a bulk amount of content, so that we knew, okay, the next month, all we have to do is split up the editing. So like you would edit half, I would edit the other half, and then we would post them up. We like would collectively be like, here's the posting schedule, this is what's going to happen, and then we'd be like, okay, the next month we have all our videos done, so we wouldn't have to physically be together for like a month.
Right, which would be a lot easier. And I feel like even if we were physically together, it's so different being physically together to do a video as opposed to like, oh, let's just go for a coffee, or like let's just go to lunch and like not have to always worry about filming everything we do. Like I feel like our friendship definitely has like, it like was, we were seeing each other at our most during Joe and Britt, but I feel like once we stopped doing videos, we started to like almost like value our time together a little bit more, because we weren't constantly being like, let's film everything we do, you know?
It was like our friendship became like this, it's like a marketing thing, or like a Like anytime we'd get together, we're like, oh, we should take a photo, we should do this, we should make sure that we're on top of this. It was always a business meeting. It was never like, like it was rare when we would just like go to lunch and like hang out.
Totally. Yeah. And like, I feel like that would happen with any partnership, because also, I mean, it's not like it was always a bad thing or like something that we didn't look forward to. Like there was a lot of times where you and I would be so excited about a video and just be like creative, like our ideas flying everywhere. And that was so fun. And it's so fun to have a friend to bounce that off of. But I think a lot of the times we were like, oh, we would like to just be friends right now and talk about things that don't need to be shared with the world or whatever it was.
Yeah. And then like, if we're always filming, it's like, we can't, like, there's some stuff that maybe was just too personal that we didn't want to share.
Yeah.
And we couldn't really do that with a camera on us all the time.
Totally. Yeah, for sure. Did you ever find that, like, I mean, with the next step and like growing up on Family Channel, like, did you ever find that whenever you were needing to be on camera, there was also like this certain standard you needed to like uphold to?
Well, I think that I had like it was like the good 4 years that I was on the next step. Anytime I wanted to be in public, I would like have makeup and hair done. I would have an outfit. And that's why I went shopping so much, because I was constantly trying to like look the part, I guess, of like girl from the Family Channel show, I guess. And then because also too, at that time, it was so much more popular, and well, not so much more popular, it's still very popular, but at the time, me on the show was meant a lot of people would recognize me in public places. So I found that like, if I have to take photos at this place, I want to look good, as anyone I guess would, but like it then became like I was always on. I couldn't really just like, that's why I always wore like hats a lot of the time. If my hair was greasy, that was like my go-to, because I was like, I don't want to be seen.
Yeah.
Gross, I guess. And then, but it's interesting how as I've gotten older, I've sort of flipped that in a way. Like I still get ready for videos, obviously, but when I go out shopping or something, I'm not going to put makeup on. If I see someone and I take a photo with them, cool, but it's usually their photo. That photo doesn't really go anywhere, because I'm not at the level of a huge celebrity where that shit's going to go. It's just going to go everywhere.
Totally. But it is crazy that like there was still this need to like, you know, have to constantly feel this pressure of getting to this certain standard that maybe people would expect from you. And it's wild, like looking back, I'm sure, like, I mean, you were young. You were what, 17? When did you start the next step? 16?
I think it was 16 when we started. Like,
but then when it aired, like you were just coming out of high school, and that's like a really young age to be trying to be like live in this certain light, even if it isn't, you know, as big as maybe some others. It still holds a lot of weight. And I mean, clearly there's a lot of people who really look up to you and still do. And so like, that's just, it's crazy that you feel like you always have to have this certain persona rather than just like letting loose and being yourself completely, you know, like it takes a while.
Yeah. And that's kind of where, like, it was actually when I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease, because I was in the hospital for that, like, it was like a year, like 6 months of just like figuring out that whole thing. And then I had surgery. And then the beginning of that year, the previous year was 2018 or 2017, I think. And that's when I met Ben. And and then it was like, I did this, the last Next Step tour was in Australia and the UK, I think I did for that year. And then coming out of that, I almost felt like I had said goodbye, because the previous summer I had been written off of the show. It was season 5 and I was written off. And I knew it was the time to do it. I was like, this is kind of a perfect opportunity. And then after that tour, I remember thinking like, this is done. Like I kind of like felt it more so in myself of like, I'm not doing this anymore. Without anyone really saying like, by the way, like it's not like a contract was up or anything. It was just like symbolically, or I don't know, mentally, I didn't feel like I was in that headspace anymore. I felt like I had kind of grown up a bit and maybe moved on, and said like, if I ever come back to this, it's going to be different. It's going to be for like an episode or like a guest star role maybe. But even then, like I actually remember, I think they asked me if I could do that season.
Really?
Like for like a couple episodes. And I don't think it worked out logistically, but I also think a part of me was like, I don't know that I want to go back yet. Like I think it's almost like I likened it in one of my other videos with Brennan. I likened it to going back to like a high school reunion or something.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. Or like going back to high school and being like, hey, do you want to redo all these classes that you've already taken? You know what I mean?
That's such an interesting way to put it. Yeah.
Like, and not to say that I wouldn't have enjoyed it or like whatever, but I felt like I was like, it just for me, I knew I had moved on and I would move forward with new things. And also too, I didn't want to be typecast as like Riley from The Next Step, I guess. And which at that point very much was. Everyone knew me from that show. So I wanted to like do other things and just show that, you know, I'm capable of more.
Totally. So, yeah. No, and that makes complete sense. That's funny. Like, I likening it to high school though. Imagine we went back to high school.
Oh, right? To like take a class. But like, to be quite honest, there are some parts of it that I would enjoy, that I would love.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things though that like you don't need to. You don't have to do it. Or you know, like it's that separation of like, I love it, and that's one of the reasons I did that reunion episode, because everyone was there and it was really fun to like see everyone in the summer.
Yeah.
But that was like a high school reunion, whereas if I was to go back to do a season or like a guest star role, or I feel like that would be like, here, let's take another course of.
I get it. Yeah, that totally makes sense. That's actually a really good way to put it. Yeah. Oh, high school. High school feels like it was ages ago. When did we graduate high school?
2013.
7 years ago.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh. Holy!
Graduated 7 years ago. And then, yeah.
Wait, 2009 is when we were in grade 9. It was 10
years ago. Yeah, 11 years ago. When
I want to vomit.
But like, we were literal babies. We were infants in high school. So like,
we were. No, not that I want to vomit with like who I was in high school. Like, oh my goodness, not that.
Neither. Sorry, it's just how crazy, how long it's been, and we didn't like. Where did that go? You know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, like Britt and I, when we were at coffee a couple days ago, I was telling her that I was going. What was I telling you? I was like, I'm going through a quarter life crisis. Like you're a few months ahead of me, so you've turned 25.
I've already had my quarter life crisis.
You've already had your life crisis. Like, please give me all the tips on dealing with it, because I'm going crazy every day. I wake up and I'm like, I am that much closer to turning 25 and I'm not ready. Like, I'm not ready.
Here's my thing. You're only as old as you feel. And it's super important to just live in the present, because that's the safest place for you. If you're living in the past, then you're always going to think about and worry about like what I did wrong. If you're living in the future and like what's to come, there's worrying there too. Whereas right now you have control over it for the most part, and you understand right now because you're in it. You will never be able to fully understand a moment once it's happened, once it's passed, or a moment that's to come, because both are not right now. So that's kind of like a big clarity thing that I've sort of come to terms with.
Wise words, Brittany. Okay.
That like living right now is the best thing. And I feel like I've definitely done a lot of like self-improvement stuff over the past year, I'd say. So like, for example, decluttering stuff is a big thing. And like, COVID hit at a weirdly perfect time, as if you want to see the silver lining. It for me was like, okay, I have all of these books, first of all, that I have a hoarding problem where I will purchase so many books, even though I have a stack that I have not even read. But I will buy more ones because I just want to collect books, and I love that. But my goal for this year was, okay, now I should actually read all the books that I already own. Then I will allow myself to purchase more. And I'm not the best at it. I'm still buying books, but it's definitely less. Like, there's more space in between the purchasing.
Yeah. Which is good. I mean, not only are you decluttering and like having a more like cleansed space, but you're also saving money, which is great.
Exactly. Right. And that's another thing is like, I'm going to budget my spending a lot more, and I'm being way more like analytical in terms of every week I'm checking how much money I'm spending and making sure I'm in my budget. And
oh my goodness, that's actually the biggest like change for me in COVID too, was financially. I actually woke up to what I was spending my money on, and the things that I was like, I do not need to be eating out 2 times a day. What am I doing? Like, that's dramatic, but a lot of things, it made me, because you have the time during COVID, and I mean, it was tax season too. So you're going through your finances, and I was going through my bank statements, and I was appalled at how much I spent on Uber. I was like, what am I doing? I literally recently bought a bike pass, and I am now eco-friendly, riding my bike around the city. It literally, Brit sees me like show up with my little helmet yesterday at coffee, or the other day at coffee. But yeah, you're right. It really woke up a lot of things for a lot of people too. A lot of people I talk to are saying financially they are making changes after this quarantine, for sure.
It's, if anything, it's good. It's like, it's uncomfortable right now, and uncomfortable means change is happening, which is
good.
And the other thing I've been doing, sorry, I want to mention,
go.
Following your sister's Instagram page. What is it? Fit by Jaws? That's what it is.
It used to be like Life of Jaws or something, but she's changed it to Fit by Jaws.
Fit by Jaws. I said Life of Jaws in my last video, but I corrected it in the caption. So
yes. She's killing it.
Sorry.
No, I was saying, yeah, Joss is killing it. She's, crazy fit firefighter, knows her stuff when it comes to fitness and nutrition, and you've been following a lot of them, right?
Yeah, literally anytime I see one of her posts on my feed, I'll like save it to a folder for workouts. And so when I'm going to do a workout, I'm like, okay, I want to do upper body today. And then I'll follow one of hers. And I find that like I've been keeping it consistent where I work out at least 5 days a week. And I'll work out,
in quarantine.
Mm-hmm. For the past like month and a half, I've been keeping it consistent. But what the key is doing less workout. So like I don't do like an hour and a half, 3 hours. That's ridiculous to me. I do like 20 minutes, a quick little hit of like something, gets the cardio and like works a specific area of my body. And then I usually do like 10 minutes of core on top of that. And then I call it a day. That's it. And I'm on. And that way it's much less of a commitment. I feel like it's like a quick little workout, but I know that I'm like ticking a box. And then by the end of the week, I look back and I'm like, I just did 5 20-minute workouts for this entire week. And I'm way more capable of like upholding that than upholding like an hour and a half a day, or like it just seems ridiculous
I'm actually like, I'm so impressed by you saying that you do it 5 times a week. Cause I feel like that was me in like January, February when Sweat and Tonic opened in Toronto, and you and I were going a lot too. Yeah. Like that type of thing, like HIIT workouts and going and being around that environment of people motivating you was like the peak of my fitness. But right when COVID hit, I tried to do this at home workout thing, and I've finally gotten back in the rhythm with Jocelyn and with Sweat and Tonic. But I like fell into a slump for a long time, specifically surrounding like my relationship with food and my relationship with working out. And it, like, I don't know, I've talked to a couple other people, and I don't know if you went through this at the beginning of quarantine at all, but it was like, it affected me a lot to the point where I was like, I don't feel good anymore. I don't feel like I have energy. I don't feel like, I don't feel motivation to even get up in the morning, because it was so like, it's so taxing, especially when you're not working out and doing your regular routine. Like, I understand why people get into slumps when they don't move their body,
Well, it's so interesting how since I've been doing this, I felt a dramatic shift in like, I can actually eat without, like sometimes I'll feel a little bit uncomfortable when I digest food, but I haven't since I've been working out, because they say that working out like in small increments, like I've been doing, and not really pushing myself, like on normal, like when I was younger, I would have pushed myself way more than I'm doing, but I'm kind of keeping it within my comfort zone and slowly pushing so that I can get stronger, but like keeping it safe so that I can, my stomach can like, essentially it like promotes digestion in a healthier way, and it like moves things around. Like obviously tons of health benefits from working out, so like I don't have to explain that, but digestion specifically, it's been so much easier to deal with when I'm working out, because it's just making things move, I guess.
No, I totally get that. Yeah, it's so interesting. It does so much more for you than just like your initial like, I want to work out to be fit and like have a good body or whatever it is. Like that's literally like the least of the benefits, I think. Actually, Kay, speaking of, I wanted to ask you about something that I was listening to yesterday. I'm so curious your thoughts on it. So Jacqueline Forbes, I don't know if you saw her stories yesterday for people who don't know, Jacqueline is one of our really good friends. She's an incredible YouTuber, she's an actor as well, and works in social media. She's wonderful. Check out her channel. We love her. Anyways, she, little plug for Jacqueline. She posted stuff on her stories yesterday talking about Instagram filters. And so it was really interesting to me, and I watched all of them, and she basically was saying that there's certain filters that are really creative and really fun, and they have like, butterflies all around your eyes or whatever it is, and it's cool. But then there's some that all they do is like completely they filter your face so you have no pores. Your cheekbones like go in a little bit, your eyes get a bit bigger, your nose gets a little bit slimmer, and like it's just ever so slightly that as you're looking at yourself, it just changes a little bit, but it's almost like altering our perception of what we now look like on Instagram and expecting us to look like that in real life, which is creating these like, it's kind of problematic because now it's creating this anxiety of going out in real life and not looking like how you do on these filters or what you're showing the world that you look like. And I was like, that just opens like so many ideas and things. And I was curious to your thoughts on it because I was like mind blown.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I feel like I don't really use those filters. I'm not really like a big person in that. Like if I'm gonna take a photo, I'm gonna take the photo and then I'll like swipe to find like a photo filter.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like that's the extent of my knowledge of that. But I do 100% agree that it promotes this disjointed image of what is beautiful and what we should be looking like, and almost telling you like, hey, if you made these little adjustments to your face, you'd be way prettier. And that's super lame. Like, no, I think we're all beautiful in different ways, and that like the most beautiful thing is someone who is really confident and kind and self-aware and knows how they fit, I guess in any scenario, and is just comfortable in their own skin, I think. And I also think it's important to be healthy and to treat your body with respect and all of that by like eating properly and doing your workouts when you can and getting, being physical is great. Like, and promoting that is important, way more important than trying to chisel your face to look a specific way. And I completely agree that it's lame and like,
yeah, it's just like crazy knowing that that's something that, and like I'm 100% guilty of it. Like I'll go to a filter where I'm like, oh, this makes me look like I have mascara on when I don't. And like little filters, like they're not always a big deal. And I know it's not always like an issue to be using them, but even she was saying something about, those games that you play where like you have, it'll say like, I don't know, the games, the filter games on Instagram.
Oh yeah, on Instagram. I actually think they're a lot of fun.
So fun. No, they are. They're so fun. We're going to have to like, say a city, a food, and a plant that all starts with letter A or something.
Oh yeah.
But what she was saying, it was crazy because she's like, even these, where the point of it is the game, they're filtering and adjusting your face. And it's like, it's just so odd. I don't know. There's just so much about it that I'm like, I don't think I agree with that.
I agree. But I think from a marketing standpoint, if I'm a business and I want people to use my app, it's because I want to make you look as beautiful as possible so that you will always go to my app whenever you take a photo or whenever you do this.
Right. Totally. And like,
yeah, which I don't think it's cool. I think it's kind of messed up, especially if it causes anxiety. If you're not like comfortable with where you're at, like, I don't think that's good, but yeah.
Yeah, crazy, eh? Like, I was like, oh, this is so interesting. I don't know, I saw that on her story the other day, and I was like, what an interesting topic to talk about.
What an interesting topic, yeah. Oh, so great. Okay, so I feel like that's good for our video. For my video, I guess. This is part 2 of 3. The third part is going to be on Joelle's channel. If you want to, I'll link it down below, or I'll link your channel down below. Please subscribe to her channel. It's going to be some great content. We're going to talk all about it in the next video as well. And if you want to see part 1, that's on our shared YouTube channel called Jo and Britt. And there's already a bunch of content on there that you can check out.
You can see us 4 years ago as babies.
Yes. Oh my God. But yeah, thanks so much, Joelle, and we'll do the talk in a minute.